Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Chairperson of Committee on Lands and Urban Planning to lay a paper.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly. The report of the Committee on Lands and Urban Planning Development on the implementation of status of the County Assembly resolutions of the Third Assembly.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson of Committee on Lands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper, Mr. Speaker, notice. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that this Assembly adopt the report on the Committee on Lands and Urban Planning Development on the implementation status of the County Assembly resolutions of the Third Assembly, laid on the table of the Assembly on 26th August 2024.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Member for Kikumbulu North Ward requests for a statement. The Chairperson of the Committee on ICT Education Internship regarding lack of supply of a transformer meant for dead turn in CCTI in Kikumbulu North Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the provision of Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 39(2) of the Government Act 2012, Revised 2020, and Standing Order 50 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on ICT, Education and Internship regarding the lack of supply of and installation of transformer meant for Ndetani CTTI in Kukumbuli North Ward. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the financial year 2021-2022, 3.5 million was budgeted for Ndetani CCTI in Kukumbuli North Ward, which 1.5 was earmarked for gate and fencing, and 2 million for installation of transformer. The works under gate and fencing were done to completion. Mr. Speaker, sir, out of the 2 million allocation for supply and installation of transformer, only wiring was done. But up to date, the transformer has never been supplied and installed. Mr. Speaker, sir, the chairperson should therefore clarify on the following: whether the department is aware that the transformer wasn't supplied and installed. B, if yes, why was the transformer not supplied, and why has it taken 3 years to implement the project? Attach proof and correspondence between the department and the Kenya Power Lighting Company Limited following up the matter since then. What plans does the department, that is C, what plan does the department have to ensure that the transformer is supplied and installed? Please provide timelines. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson, Committee on Education. Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to be given 2 weeks so that the committee can deliberate and come up with a comprehensive response to the statement. 2 weeks, 14 days, a maximum of 14 days.
Member for Kumbulu North Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you delay justice, it is like denial. Mr. Speaker, for 3 years we've been waiting. These are very strict questions which should not take more than a week, Mr. Speaker, not 2 weeks. 1 week, for those specific, that's just simple questions. It does need 2 weeks. 1 week, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I'm saying so because we normally have our weekly meetings on Wednesdays, and that means tomorrow is when we may start following up on the response, and we must also sit as a committee and deliberate on what the response is. If we get substandard response, it means it will even take more than that. But I want to commit the committee on ICT. If we get the response this week, we'll bring that response within the 14 days, because we have said 14 days is the maximum period we are asking for. The honorable member, we understand, because 3 years is not a small time. We want also to be aware that since he waited for 3 years waiting for the same to happen, and we are asking for only 14 days, that can relatively be a good response, Honorable Speaker, and that time will be the best time. Because when I say 2 weeks, as I said earlier, 2 weeks is the maximum time. We may get that within even 7 days, and we will respond to this statement within that time. As well, Honorable Speaker, I believe we'll be adjourning, I think, on Wednesday this week. That means we will go for a short recess. That short recess will mean we will have done some substantial work within the short recess, and we will respond comprehensively, because we don't want the honorable member to come back to this assembly and ask the same question.
So, by date, when would you wish to submit this response?
After tomorrow's sittings, the next sitting. After the next sitting is when we will bring the response.
The next sitting you're saying will be 3 weeks from now?
Yes.
4 weeks?
No, I mean, tomorrow we'll have followed up on everything, because we'll have our weekly meetings. Then we'll forward, if the response comes back tomorrow, we'll still be able to respond to those issues. But I believe within 2 weeks, 2 weeks, calendar weeks, not the sitting weeks, Honorable Speaker, will be able to respond to this statement comprehensively. And he is my good friend and neighbor, and you will understand that, because
so 2 weeks
the Tani, we bordered in the Tani, and we know the issues around the Tani. We will try to make sure it is done. He should be happy that.
So Wednesday is okay.
This week?
Wednesday next week?
Next week, yes. Wednesday next week, we'll be able to respond to the same. He must be very happy, Honorable Speaker. He knows how it's matter. And so
fair enough.
For our people of Kikumbuli and Ngolia people. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And that is 7 days, within 8 days.
Yes, this is more than 7 days. That's why we said within 14
fair
days.
Enough.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
You are very robust.
Copy of the report. Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of noise, and I'm not able to follow.
We equally can't follow, because when you tell us attached is a copy of report of finance.
At the back. Because the report
there are
is
many attachments.
EV1.
Hold on. There are many attachments. There's EV1, there's EV2, there's EV5. So you have asked us to check an attached report. It's EV what?
There is a problem, Honorable Speaker. I'm not.
So we just what we do. Just find your committee clerk, organize your document. We defer that matter.
Thank you very much. I understand and I agree.
No problem. We'll be sending chairs to do makeups. I just look for him. But organize your app better.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I get that.
Give us a storybook.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
a question time. You mention attachment, it's supposed to be EV1 or EV2, EV3.
I get that, Honorable
these
Speaker.
members
Honorable
are-
Speaker, if you can allow the next statement to first come, then we'll have organized
These
it.
members are busy. They want to organize things.
Thank you, I get you. You don't need to insist.
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
That statement is deferred to give time to the chairperson of Committee on Education and be able to organize those. Yeah, that one, that committee clerk is okay. He's the one who approved it. You just leave it there. He's the one who approved it. The documents are processed to them. Why do you labor? You just return the documents to the table. Either the document is well organized from the table. If it's not proper, you table it. Chairperson of Committee on Environment. Standing on number 1.
No, a point of order. Of course, yeah. I was asking.
Go ahead.
Yeah. When we were doing our induction, we were told if you start a conversation in the house in English or in Swahili, you need to continue in Swahili or either in English. Mr. Speaker, you have just prayed in Swahili, and I hear you having the proceeding of this house in English. Is it in order? Number 2, Mr. Speaker, is it in order that we continue the proceeding of this house, and yet the screen just right in front of me is not working? Number 3, Mr. Speaker, is it in order that we continue transacting business and my microphone doesn't have a cover? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
On the last one, I think I do not know how they look like. That is a matter of sergeant at arms.
Yeah, that's why I asked whether it is in order.
She's there. I just responded in both Swahili and English. But that was an order on itself. Now we're in a different order. It would have been different if I started with Swahili and finished in English. Chairperson Committee on Water. Chairperson, Vice Chair. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm a member of that committee, and the report that response is not ready. As at today, we had not received some information we want from the ECM, so we request for another 7 days. Thank you.
Member for Masongale.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think it is time the concerned take the business of this house seriously, because the matter has taken 21 days now, Honorable Speaker, since it was tabled in this house. It was supposed to be dispensed off last week. They sought for more time, which you granted. And unfortunately, they still want to seek for more time. And it's a matter that deals with water. And as you know, Mr. Speaker, water is life. And we need to deal with this matter urgently so that my people may start enjoying this very costly project which has been lying idle for the last 2 years, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Elizabeth Muli.
Honorable Speaker, I would want to seek your guidance on this matter. The requester of the statement, who is a member for Masongaleni, is a member of the Committee on Water and Irrigation. So my question is whether he's properly articulated, or he was supposed to ask this statement to his committee and the committee that he serves in.
The answer is that the member is out of order. And that is not in line with the standing orders. And then the member had indicated that will not sit in the committee, excuse himself from the deliberation of that matter. And therefore, Honorable Member, I'm afraid the manner in which you have executed your request for information is constraining the standing orders. You cannot request for a statement to be responded in a committee where you sit. So why do you think the response is late? What do you think, when you had a meeting as a committee member, what did the ECM say? Have you received a correspondence as a member of the Committee on Water? That is exactly why the standing orders prohibits you from being a requester and sitting in a committee, because you have a responsibility of providing a response and at the same time you're asking. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And if you can clarify from my request for statement, I didn't seek the particular statement referring to the Department of Water. The statement is under the Department of Agriculture because the project was implemented by the Department of Agriculture. If it changed hands to a different department, Honorable Speaker, I'm not aware. That is why I requested for the statement under the Department of Agriculture, which I am not a member.
Okay. Now that the function of irrigation has been moved to the Department of Water, then forthwith you have to make a decision whether you will continue sitting in the Committee on Water deliberating this matter, or you defer that statement to another member on your behalf before I give further directions. Either disqualify yourself from the committee on this matter.
Now that the matter is under a committee which I sit, I forthwith direct the member by the name Honorable Elizabeth Mutike to
Direct or you request?
Request.
Forthwith.
I immediately.
Go ahead.
Request the honorable member who was seeking the clarification from your table to dispense of the matter and give justice to my people.
It may be a little bit tricky because the statement on record has your name and you're the requester. Even if you transfer to Honorable Mudige, the documents will not change. The best thing is to expunge yourself from the sittings of the committee when it is deliberating this matter, so that you don't take part in responding but take part in questioning.
Well guided.
And I think that is fairer, so that then there is no discontinuity on the side of the request for statement.
I will excuse myself from the sittings of the committee as they deal with the matter.
So, nevertheless, the chairperson will invite you to listen, to listen to the deliberations. You may ask a question. You will direct Honorable Mudike later on another matter, not this one.
But I hope by excusing myself in the sittings of that particular committee, when they are dealing with that matter, doesn't make me cease being a member of that particular committee.
You cease.
For that period or
no,
for the remainder?
When the committee is dealing with that specific matter. When the committee is dealing on the matter of Masongaleni, you don't participate as a committee member. If in the subsequent meeting or the same meeting the committee is dealing with the matter of Kadhuma, then you sit as a committee member. You only disqualify from yourself when the committee is deliberating on a specific matter, so that you sit on the other side to ask more questions.
Fair enough.
Okay. And there is no pen and paper. There's no signing. That's what it means. But since you are in liaison, you are covered.
I'm in constant consultation with my aide on my right-hand side.
Your what?
He is assisting me on some few issues concerning that matter. And from your guidance, Honorable Speaker, you need to protect me because this member, I'm concentrating on the chair.
It may not be fair to refer to a member as an assistant in the eyes of people for thanking. They didn't send an assistant. They sent a representative and an advisor. So you either choose to be advised by services of Thange, by the voters of Thange, but Thange Ward can't assist you. Can only advise.
He was happy when I addressed him as my... But all in all, Mr. Speaker, I stand guided by your well guidance.
Chairperson, now that the member has excused himself, he is uncomfortable, indicating that 21 days have lapsed. You are asking for 7 more days. Justify. Justify why 7 more days?
Honorable Speaker, as you've just indicated, this function was previously with the Department of Agriculture, and it was just moved recently to water. So, in fact, that movement affected this statement. So, probably, Honorable Speaker, you may probably advise we refresh the statement so that it may purely go to the Department of Water and Irrigation in that, for that matter. So I think the delay was just occasioned by that transfer, and I don't know if somebody from Agriculture can tell us if the statement was ready from that end, but from the chair and the vice chair, they just informed me to inform the House that they are waiting for information of the transfer.
Honorable Speaker, that is the only clarification that I wanted to give, that the statement, when it was read here, it was straight transferred to the Committee on Water. It is the Chair Water who undertook to take the matter in 21 days. It was not given to Agriculture.
Kikumbuli Northward.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Still also, I want to reiterate that the Honorable Majority Leader stood as a member of Committee on Water, not even the Committee on Agriculture. And he was very clear from the onset that he was standing in for either the chair or the vice chair for the Committee on Water and Irrigation. And he was very clear. So now I was also asking myself, why is this statement changing hands and goalposts when it is about to be scored? Because the first instance was the committee to deliberate on this issue was the Committee on Water. And he could even follow because the institutional memory within the committee, since he was even the chair when this request was being asked, he knew very well, clearly that...
He was the chair?
He was the chair for the Committee on Water at that time, when this statement was directed to be deliberated within his committee. And that is why he stood very fast and to stand in for the chair and the vice chair, because it was something he knew from the onset. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair.
Honorable Speaker, without much debate on this, I think as discovered on this chamber, one, this statement contravenes the standing orders because the member is also a member of the committee. Two, the chair and the vice chair are not in the assembly today. And three, that as the minority leader tries to put it, I was the chair, and that you cannot prove that, because we can't even go back in time and get all that. And if we do, probably the statement was brought 1 day after I relinquished the chairmanship of that committee, or 2 days. So, Honorable Speaker, I wish that we could bring this statement back in the assembly tomorrow so that we may do better consultations on the same. And then tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, I think we can come up with something concrete, because I don't want to lie to the assembly. Thank you.
Tomorrow at 9:30, the chairperson will give us an update.
Yes, at 9:30. Thank you.
Chairperson of the Committee on Education and ICT on the matter of bursary awards in Kikumbuli Northward. Next order. Next order. Next order.
Order number 8, motion. The half-yearly progress report of the Implementation Committee for the period January to June 2024.
Chairperson, Committee on Implementation.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that the Assembly adopts the half-yearly progress report of the Implementation Committee for the period of January to June 2024, laid on the table of this Assembly on 7th August 2024. Mr. Speaker, allow me to go straight to the introduction. Preparation of progress report. The Makoni County Assembly Standing Order 203 provides that unless a more regular interval is prescribed under any written law, all these standing orders, each select committee shall submit a yearly progress report to the County Assembly within 2 months of the end of the 6 months period. Committee business. During the period under review, the committee held 18 sittings from January to June 2024. The committee executed its duties objectively to fulfill the functions of the County Assembly in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya, 2010 Article 185 and County Government Act 2012. The following business was conducted. Reports. The committee did not deal with any report during the period under review. Committee pending business. The committee didn't have any pending business under its consideration. Public participation. The Speaker said the committee did not conduct any public participation. Training and thematic workshop and conference. The Speaker said the committee was not trained during the period under review. Statements and reports. The committee conclusively considered and responded on the statement regarding implementation of the County Assembly resolution of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee reports and other Assembly resolutions. The committee further considered the tabled and biennial progress report for the period between July and December 2023. Anticipated the committee business. The Speaker said the committee anticipated to transact the following business during the second half of 2024. Any business that shall be committed to the committee. 2, development of special reports, motion statements based on the need. Observations, stock findings. The committee observed that 1, there had been delays in budget implementation by the executive, despite the timely approval of the budget by the County Assembly. 2, most departments had not developed legal frameworks, policies, regulations, bills that are necessary to implement key programs and projects that affecting their performance. 3, the committee did not attend quorum in several occasions, resulting to delay in processing of business that was under consideration. 4, the committee has never been trained on its mandates since its formation. Recommendations. The committee made the following recommendations. 1, the county government should always ensure fast implementation of committee budgets so as to ensure faster service delivery to the
citizens. 2, the county treasury should always ensure that all policies, regulations, and bills required for the implementation of county budgets are submitted together with the budget on or before 30th April every year is provided for in the Public Finance Management Act 2012. 3, members should heighten their commitment to deliver on the mandate by punctuality attending all committee sittings. 5, the committee will seek to conduct a training within the 4th quarter. Six, the committee will seek to conduct our trainings within the 4th quarter. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to thank members of the Committee of Implementation for their dedications, untiring commitment, and valuable contribution during the deliberations. It is because of their dedication that we have been able to complete this demanding task. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the committee, I wish to thank the officers of the committee, offices of the Speaker, and that of the clerk of the County Assembly, the support accorded it is the church in its mandate during that period. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to call upon Honorable Mwanzia to second the motion.
PAC is not able to follow up on those reports. But when you look at the standing order number 204, it dictates that select committees whose portfolios, under whose portfolios this role falls under, Honorable Speaker, it remains they must be followed within 60 days. But this committee on implementation, because solely they will be acting for those committees which are not sectoral by nature, Honorable Speaker. Those committees who have no line departments, Honorable Speaker, I think this committee will really have helped the people. Because when you go to Kibwezi, as also indicated, and the Honorable Deputy Speaker was there.
It's very important for them to be trained, and as we plan for the whole house training, which we are planning to happen sometimes during the recess, Honorable Speaker, I propose we should have a specific trainer or a specific facilitator who can train them on the mandates of that specific committee. Because without that committee in this house, then we might be making resolutions and just hitting the wall without achieving much. So, Honorable Speaker, I propose that this specific committee get some special treatment on training. Thank you.
Leader of the minority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My friend Honorable Mutia, the member for Ivingoni, indicated that it is an annual report. This is not an annual report, Honorable Speaker. You should be told. It is just a 6-month report during that session between February and June. That is when this report is talking. And you should get to know that, Honorable Speaker. This is not a yearly report. It's a half-yearly. He is now responding very clearly. And it is too misleading for him now to say the Honorable Chair was speaking of another session. It's not this session. Honorable Speaker, that is very indifferent, because the Chair was very categorical that this is a half-yearly report, and the issues, the challenges they have faced during that year is quorum issues, Honorable Speaker. And the Honorable Member, my friend, Honorable Mutia, is trying to mislead the people of Makueni and especially this assembly, that this report is talking of a different session when they had issues, Honorable Speaker. So that should be coming out very clearly, and we need to just say, since the Chair is talking about very pertinent issues, we need to support the Chair so that this committee can be re-energized, can be empowered rightly, Honorable Speaker. And also the Honorable Majority Leader is also insinuating that the members of this committee are not aware that Standing Order number 214 says and gives the authority to this committee to even sanction members of County Executive Committee. Not even the members of County Executive Committee. Anybody within the public service of county government of Makueni, Honorable Speaker, can be sanctioned, Honorable Speaker. So that should also be clearly taken. And the Honorable Chair spoke very clearly, and he even read the report, Honorable Speaker. And he said the issues he has are just as follows. And they were very clear, Honorable Speaker. Now they are trying to court the issues.
What is
Thank
the
you,
point of
Honorable Speaker.
order, Honorable Elizabeth?
Honorable Speaker, I wanted to ask whether Honorable Kalunda is in order to contribute on this matter twice, because he already contributed on this motion, Honorable Speaker.
What is it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is it in order, Mr. Speaker, for the leader of minority to proceed and say our committee members are not aware and following Standing Order 214, while, Mr. Speaker, our mandates are drawn from Standing Order 213? Further, Mr. Speaker, I would wish that you buy him from putting a lot of effort on the annual and half-year progress. Mr. Speaker, he should note that what I reported was that my chair reported correctly. It is in the past. Going forward for the last 3 months, we have been operating optimally. Thank you.
On the point of order raised by Honorable Mudike, you are contributing twice.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to agree that I'm in order because the Honorable Speaker gave me an opportunity to speak to inform the Assembly, and I informed about Honorable Mutia's issue and also Honorable Kisungi's issue, Honorable Speaker. So I think I'm in order. And
fair enough.
It is good to interject, but I want to rightly place it that.
So on that point of order, Honorable Kalunda, you are out of order. You informed and you went ahead to debate. You informed an eighth, and you contributed 7 out of it.
Honorable Speaker, anyway, you know that is debatable.
You know there are some members when they are on a point of order, before you start the standing orders, you admit the accusation.
Yes, yes.
Especially when it's Honorable Mudiki.
So sometimes
you just give in and accept.
Sometimes it is not possible to tell whether you are contributing. Because
fair enough, you have been contributing out of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The interjections also, Honorable Speaker, are to open up and to explain.
There is a proper way of doing it. When you just organize your contributions when a motion is being moved, so that you are not influenced by contribution of others.
Okay, thank you,
So be keen when a motion is moved, so that you are not keen when other members are contributing. That's what happens. If you see a member seeking to inform, know that he didn't listen to the motion. He is reacting to a contribution in Vietnam.
But you know, I had keen interest.
I know you are.
I followed every word.
Fair, and
the Honorable Chair brought here.
And I can say of late
and he is even nodding. He is even nodding. I can see the Chair is nodding.
Fair enough.
He is very happy that I prosecuted his case. Thank you very much, Honorable.
Fair enough. And I can see of late you are. Mover of the motion. Keep it up. Your point of order? The member, I've indicated the member was out of order to make a contribution. Whatever he said was a debate instead of an information, and therefore as he has declared himself that contribution was not information, so he's neither here nor there. So he has undercut himself. He has limited himself to an eighth, the first 1 minute of his speech. The rest is misplaced. Because contribution. Chairpersons, respond to the motion.
Thank you, Speaker. Sir, let me thank members for their worthy contribution towards this motion, and I urge the members to pass the motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put the question that the Assembly adopt the half-yearly progress report of the Implementation Committee on the period January to June 2024 laid on the table of Assembly. In this Assembly, table of this Assembly of 7th of August 2024. Will as many as of our opinion say aye? Last minute to counter opinion saying, the ayes have it. Now, honorable members have had questions as to standing order number 204. Now, this morning we were in a meeting as Assembly Business Committee. And all the business was presented and with minutes. After our meeting, a report was compiled and was presented in form of an order paper. Members are consuming the business in order paper as scheduled by the County Assembly Committee, and that business was processed by this committee. Now, that is the beginning of the business. Now, the evaluator of the House Business Committee and this order paper is the Committee on Implementation. So I do not know where there is a gap, because after the committee have passed reports approved by this House with recommendations, then how come some committees do not follow up within 60 days? Unless then House Business will again evaluate the outcome. So we'll evaluate every stage. So if it's a committee, for example, on gender, you have resolutions. I presume that in your agendas, as we meet every day, there's a request for a statement, there's a motion, there's a bill that is coming, you are visiting site, and there's a recommendation that is due in 30 minutes. I mean, what do members need to discuss if then you have never discussed the progress of the recommendations? But fairly, I presume that because it is common practice, after 60 days, after a resolution, for example, on the Department Committee on Gender lapses, it's already with implementation. I thought that when they lapse, someone may not need to consult. I mean, all the committee clerks and the recommendations of the County Assembly converge, and there is a calendar, and therefore automatically, even without you asking, Chairperson Committee on Implementation, you should be informed tomorrow there are recommendations, 2 recommendations that are due, not processed by the committee has not reported, then take up the matter. But even before then, the committee ought to have been evaluated. So I do not know for how long we are going to debate this matter. It's a very simple matter. I do not know. I mean, it's a calendar of our committee, and its committee clerk, you are on lunch, you passed a report, you have 2 recommendations to implement it before 60 days. How does that business disappear within 60 days within your committee without the chair and the committee clerk and members noticing? And when that business has been dispensed, how does it not get to implementation? So that then implementation receives. It's not the responsibility of the implementation to receive. The clerk, you need to look at that point. We have a confusion at that roundabout, and it must be resolved. I personally do not want to stand here again and speak about implementation and sectoral committee members, because every day repeating the same thing is not a good thing. Honorable chairs, committee clerks, and your teams and clerk, please can we streamline this matter once and for all? I hope we'll not discuss this again. I ask we revert to the statements. Understanding order number 43. 43-2. Honorable Elizabeth Muli to request a statement.
Honorable Speaker, I will seek that you allow me to request 2 statements on behalf of the member for Nzawi Kilili Kalamba Ward.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 39(2) of the County Governments Act 2012, revised 2020, and Standing Order number 50 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders, arise to request for a statement from the Chairperson, Committee on Health Services, regarding the operations of Makueni County Referral Hospital. In July 2024, Makueni County launched the Makueni County Integrated Health Management System, Afya Makueni, which is a digital health management information system which was aimed at replacing the outdated manual and inefficient processes in health facilities in the county. Honorable Speaker, the system was also aimed at interconnecting all health care services and facilities in the county, ensuring a seamless flow of information to enhance patient care, streamline operations, and boost overall efficiency. The centralized system was expected to eliminate the need for patients to register multiple times across different facilities. For instance, a patient registered in Mutitu Andei would not need to register again at the Makueni County Referral Hospital or any other facility. Honorable Speaker, the system would further provide comprehensive data of patients' history. Honorable Speaker, I would request that because this is on the system, we can have the committee consider doing it in 7 days, because I don't think there are complicated issues on the matter of the system, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, the member is indicating that this is a system that is running the institution. And the questions are whether it is working or not. 7 days is okay. Honorable Jens Kaluda, what is it? I understand your ICT. Speak up.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted also to say you can limit that to within 7 days because it's a straightforward thing. And having been a member of the Committee on Health, I understand the chair is up to the task. Even Honorable Muthike will tell you because we've been serving in that committee.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Good spirit. Many chairs don't get such support.
Yes.
So, chair, you have a good team.
No, I don't serve.
You don't? Honorable Elizabeth.
Honorable Speaker, the second statement is on the Universal Health Care Program. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 39, Part 2 of the County Governments Act 2012 and Standing Order 50 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Health Services regarding the status of implementation of Makueni County Universal Health Care Policy within Makueni County. In 2016, the county government of Makueni launched Makueni Care, a universal health program that aims to improve access to promotive, preventive, curative, and rehabilitative health services and reduce the population's high out-of-pocket expenditure. The program was meant to complement the other existing programs in the country, including NHIF, Linda Mama, Edu Afya, and other available health insurance covers. The target population of Makueni Care are residents of Makueni County. Residency is verified using the National Identity Card. People who reside in the county but whose National Identity Card reflects otherwise must show proof of 6 months of continuous residency in the county. Honorable Speaker, households are currently required to pay an annual subscription registration fee of 500 to register for the program, in stark contrast of the monthly premium of Kenya shillings 500 per family charged by the National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, which county government felt was unaffordable. However, this brought a substantive revenue stream for the Department of Health Services. Honorable Speaker, it has been brought to my attention that registration of the Universal Health Coverage, UHC, has stalled, collections have reduced, and that residents of the county are suffering needlessly due to lack of universal health care coverage. The chairperson should clarify on the following: whether the department is aware of the reduction in collection and stored registration of UHC. If yes, what has led to the stalling of the registration and reduction in the collections? And 2, provide information on those registered per financial years 2020, 2021, financial year 2021, 2022, financial year 2022, 2023, and financial year 2023, 2024. Article 43(1) of the Constitution of Kenya provides that every person has the right to the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to health care services, including reproductive health care. How does the department intend to assure this right without the universal healthcare coverage? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, Committee on Health Officers.
1 week.
7 days. What is it, member for Kikumbuli Southward?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would also have wished if this statement would also include more years, because when I listen to 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, like that, we will face a lot of issues. We will not get the correct data to compare, because 2020, maybe the subscriptions went down because of the COVID pandemic or such. If we could get an earlier year like 2018, 2019, 2020, like that, Honorable Speaker, that would really help us in managing the data. Otherwise, if we get it the same way as she has requested, it may not even lead us to any comparative analysis. If you could allow, Honorable Speaker, that statement to include those other years, I would really think it will help the people of Makueni to make the best comparative analysis. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Jonathan Mwaniki, SG.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will also request that we get information, because in the financial year 2023-2024, Mr. Speaker, if I may recall, there was some money that was allocated, and the department was to do some mapping to see how that budget can be absorbed by in registering members to the UHC. Mr. Speaker, I can recall, but table office can confirm. Mr. Speaker, there was some money like that, because I used
A bit further should supply information on now that the budget line was utilized. Chairperson, you are directed to do so without fail. Next order. Before next order, Chairperson, Committee on Education, to respond to a statement as requested by member for Kikumbuli Northward.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to because we have made the correct annexures.
Go ahead.
I think we can start with response number 1. The committee responds as follows. 1, provide the report on the findings of the investigations conducted by the team which was sent by the ECM to the ward to investigate the matter and provide a copy of the report. Honorable Speaker, we've annexed that under annexure number 1. The investigation report confirmed discrepancies in the issuance of bursaries. It highlights the allegations made by the requester of the statement and a response with the findings for each allegation. Honorable Speaker, that attached copy is within my report. Honorable Speaker, number 2, provide the hard copies of the lists of the names of students who applied and were vetted at each sub-ward, the lists of the successful students which were submitted to the ward bursary committee, and the list of the disbursement of the check in the ward for the financial year 2023-2024. Honorable Speaker, as under annex number 2, the ECM indicated that is the response. The response says the ECM indicated that from the investigations conducted, it was established that A, the original lists of the names of the students and their application forms who applied and were vetted at each sub-ward were missing. Number 2, B, the original lists of successful students which were submitted to the ward bursary committee were also missing. And the honorable member is also aware of that. C, upon inquiry, the ward administrator confirmed that the documents mentioned in A and B above were submitted to him but got lost. Honorable Speaker, for the list of the disbursement of the checks in the ward for the financial year 23-24, the ACM pointed out that her department received a soft copy of the ward bursary beneficiaries on 29th December 2023. which was used to prepare the disbursement list. The ECM has attached the list of the disbursement of the checks in the ward for the financial year 23-24. During the inquiry, the committee established that the ward administrator worked from the office of the village administrator, where he bundled all the collected documents for bursary issuance into 2 cartons and stored them in the office of the Kathiaka village administrator instead of his office. The honorable member is also aware of that. Allegedly, due to space constraints, intending to transfer them later. This is the point where the documents got lost during the handing over of the Department of ICT Education and Internship. Number 3, the actions the department has taken to ensure that the deserving needy students who had been successfully vetted and passed for issuance of the bursaries but were shortchanged are issued with bursary to enable them to continue with their education. Provide specific timelines for this action because justice delayed is justice denied. That is the language by the honorable member, and you know it is truly his language. Honorable Speaker, during the inquiry, the response is, during the inquiry on 15th May 2024, the ECM for ICT Education and Internship informed the committee and the MCA for Kikumbulu North, who was present at the meeting, that investigations had been conducted regarding the bursary applications. It was found out that 14 of the 21 students submitted by the member for Kikumbulu North were immediately deemed eligible for bursaries. The remaining 7 students underwent further verification and were also confirmed to be deserving. As a result, all 21 students who were initially shortchanged have now received their bursaries. The bursaries were issued to all 21 students before 15th May this year, ensuring that justice was served without delay. Honorable Speaker, number 4, the recovery mechanisms the department has put in place to recover the bursaries which were issued to students who are not residents of Kikumbulu North and have the money channeled to the rightful applicants. Provide specific timelines. As annexed number 3, Honorable Speaker, in our response. The response says, the ECM mentioned that due to the missing documents, the department found it difficult to establish the extent of the bursary to be recovered. However, during the inquiry on May 15th,
Honorable members, I think that matter is listed. The chairperson, you will follow up on the disciplinary measures. Now the committee, you have the authority to transform this into a report and include your findings in terms of recommendations on how to better the bursary fund regulations arising from this matter and any other, as you had indicated earlier on. Proceed and do so within 21 days. Next order. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. The report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the Makueni County Sports Policy 2024.
Chairperson, Committee on Gender. Chairperson, Committee on Gender. Member, Committee on Gender. Chairperson. No member from Committee on Gender? None. Chairperson is Honorable Martina. Chairperson, we are on motions and we presume you have been here because of a motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this Assembly adopt the report of Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the Makueni Sports Policy 2024 laid on the table of the Assembly on 21st August 2024. Honorable Speaker, with the permission, I will go straight to the executive summary. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 mandates the County Assembly to oversight the County Executive Committee. The Assembly executes its mandates pursuant to Section 14(1)(b) of the County Government Act 2012. The Sectorial Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services is established under Standing Order 217 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders, and it is mandated to, among others, investigate, inquire into reports on all matters relating to the mandate management.
Chairperson, you quoted which section of the County Government Act?
Section 14.
Section 14?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, activities in administration, operation, and estimates of the assigned department. The fourth schedule of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 assigns county government the role of managing cultural activities, public entertainment, and public amenities, including sports and cultural activities and facilities, whereas Vision 2030 recognizes the significant role of sports in fostering national unity, that is national cohesion and integration, promoting a healthy lifestyle and contributing to economic development. Sports is a tool that brings people together regardless of their background, based on ethnicity, religious belief, gender, or other differences. Sporting activities help people appreciate one another, thus creating an atmosphere of pulling together even in matters of development. Further, sport has the potential to enhance personal development, especially youth development, community development, health and well-being, education, economic development, entertainment. Sporting should not be only the focus solely on competing, but towards the impact sport can have in the wider community through development and social impact. Hence, the development of this policy. The policy has been formulated to create an environment for continuous and consistent training and competing spirit, create an avenue through which the county government can channel support to the youth, and also strengthen the legal and institutional framework. The policy guide the county government to conduct sporting activities in regular, structured, and well-coordinated ways, as well as ensuring fair play, transparency, and integrity of sports in the county. Speaker, this policy recognizes the holistic nature of sports and acknowledges the vital roles the county government of Makueni and other stakeholders shall play to guarantee all more successful future for sports within Makueni County. It includes various targets and recommendations, as well as formulating one common count-wide strategy that will shape the direction of sports for the next 5 years. These common sporting disciplines in the county include football, volleyball, handball, basketball, athletics, rugby, volleyball, athletics, Special Olympics, and netball. The policy has been divided into 5 chapters, which each chapter highlights specific and detail informed as contained in the policy. Chapter 1 gives a brief introduction of sports in Makueni, including infrastructure development, equipment, and program. The common sporting division, the situation analysis, challenges, and issues to be addressed, supporting framework, and the policy formulation process and consultations. Chapter 2 states that the policy objectives and the strategies will. Chapter 3 highlights policy implementation and evaluation. Chapter 4 gives the institutional framework. Chapter 5 provides the policy implementation framework, matrix, resource mobilization, monitoring, and evaluation and the policy review. Honorable Speaker, the Makueni County Sports Management Policy was first on the floor of the House on 12 June 2023 and committed to the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports, and Social Services for consideration. The committee was tasked to consider the document and tabled the report in the Assembly pursuant to the provision of Standing Orders 2026 of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders. However, upon engagement with the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services, it was realized that there was need for further review of the policy. The department engaged the committee for review of the policy and proposed some amendments. The policy was resubmitted to the County Assembly on the 13th June 2024, tabled on the 26th June 2024, and subsequently committed to the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Youth, Sports for consideration and compilation of a report for approval by the House. The Speaker, sir, Article 196(1)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that a County Assembly shall facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislation and other business of the Assembly and its committees. The committee fed an advert placed in newspaper on 18th July 2024, invited interest stakeholders and the general public to attend or submit any oral or written submissions regarding the policy during a public participation forum held on Thursday 25th and Friday 26th July 2024. Public views memoranda were also to be forwarded to the clerk of the County Assembly by Friday 26th July 2024. As at the end of the submission period on August 2024, no memoranda had been received from the members of the public regarding the policy. Scrutiny by the County Assembly. Pursuant to Article 196(1)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the County Assembly, through the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services, conducted a public participation on 25th and 26th July 2024 in bid to get views from the public regarding the policy. For the effective and efficient running of this exercise, members of the County Assembly were grouped into 15 groups, which each group visited 2 wards over the 2-day exercise. The objective of the exercise was to ensure members of the public were taken through the Makueni County Sports Management Policy 2024, making clarification where possible and ensuring they fully understand why the policy was being processed through the County Assembly. Members retreated to Machakos County between 15 to 18 August 2024 to consider the views of the public regarding the policy and develop a report for consideration and approval by the House. The committee held several meetings and consulted with the department, especially the director, sports and legal team in coming up with this report. Honorable Speaker, now we go to committee observations. During scrutiny of this policy, the committee has the following. 1, the role of the County Assembly and the national government, especially the policy, was not included in the stakeholders' engagement. Number 2, the policy provides for establishment of a county sports fund for streamlined management and funding of the sports activities. Number 3, the policy did not provide all legislations for sports management in legal framework part of the document, including the FKF statutes, the Kenya Volleyball statute, among others. Committee recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee hereby recommend the following. 1, the policy should provide for the sports regulation and guidelines to provide for standard budget for activities across the ward, minimum allocation of 1 million per ward. Number 2, Honorable Speaker, sports activities should adhere to the specific calendar provided for in league mashinani guidelines and structure. League mashinani should begin at the same time and across the wards in the entire county. Number 3, the policy should provide that every ward should have a budget allocation of at least 1 million for sports activities of the Makueni County Sports Management Policy 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the Sectoral Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services, and pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Orders 2026, the Makueni County Assembly's Standing Orders, it is my pleasure and duty to present to the Makueni Assembly the committee's report on the Makueni County Sports Policy 2024 for consideration. Honorable Speaker, I call the Deputy Speaker, who is a member of this committee, to second. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to second the adoption of this motion. And I need to make my remarks shortly. We agreed, however, it may not have been captured well the way it has, but again, I had all the village council heads, the chair and the secretary were called by the executive after we had agreed to water. And again, they were instructed they will be sitting down in each ward to make some amendments to the percentages we have given. So are we actually agreeing with the executive, with the policy which they brought to us, and then the instruction they gave to the ward council? So, Mr. Speaker, as now we pass the policy, it has to be adhered to, because we cannot go again and start going to the ward to have a public participation, which we did as an assembly. So that instruction from the director, sports, and any other member of the executive should be taken serious, because like they are downplaying what we are making as an assembly here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I have the question to propose that this assembly adopts, rather approves the report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the Makueni County Sports Policy of the year 2024, laid on the table on the Assembly 21st of August year 2024, and the motion moved by the chairperson, Honorable Eric Katumo, member for Thanke Ward, today at 1640 hours. The floor is open. Honorable Meshak Ndambuki Kali for Kalawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first I want to appreciate the committee for that report. But Mr. Speaker, as I appreciate what they have done, I stand to oppose the report because of the following reasons, Mr. Speaker. One, I remember, Mr. Speaker, that we had a discussion at the ward level, and there emanated very important issues that this House needs to look at them. Because, Mr. Speaker, when you look at that tablet where we have a tabulation of percentages in terms of awarding, Mr. Speaker, in terms of Super Cup allocation, but you wonder, Mr. Speaker, when we have finals at the ward level, then we have the proceedings now to sub-count level, and the allocation that is there, Mr. Speaker, if it passes 10%, then it means that, Mr. Speaker, that team, those teams cannot be managed at the sub-count level all the way to the count level.